What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So check it out. We have a lot to go over in this video because there's a lot going on in the stock market this week. We have a bunch of companies reporting earnings, and I know maybe not as exciting as last week in terms of companies reporting earnings, but still, we have a lot of companies reporting earnings, companies that you probably own in your stock portfolio. And guess what? We have the November Federal Reserve meeting as well. This Wednesday, we have that at about 2. Yeah, it's at 2 p.m. Press conference at 2:30 p.m. And then we're going to get more insight on inflation, rate hikes, hawkish, dovish, where's the Fed's head at, the economy, all this good stuff. So needless to say, we have a lot to break down in this video. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your water, stay hydrated, guys, and let's get into it. So at this point, you guys probably know, I've mentioned it time and time again on the channel, SPY is a big resistance coming up, and we're pretty much at it right now. $390 a share. You guys can see here on the 4-hour chart, that was the high from the middle towards the end of September, and that's where my alert is set. And guess what? That is the main level here on the upside that I'm looking at for this upcoming week. And I do believe if SPY does break 390, we are going to see in the short term, in the very short term, I'm not saying we're going to go back to all-time highs or anything crazy like that, but in the short term, we're going to see some more upside. Probably we're going to fill the gap, in my opinion, to $400. If that were to break, maybe somewhere towards, $410, $415 if it gets really hot in the short term. Then if that were to break, and we might be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but let's have some fun here. If 415 were to break, maybe 420 would be the next gap to fill. And then roughly 430, which you guys can see is the high from when we had that run-up all throughout August, which really started in July. You guys can see the markets had a very nice rally from July to about the middle of August, where the S&P 500 had a bear market rally of 18 to 19%, which that is a pretty nasty bear market rally right there, guys. And you know what happened after that. We obviously hit that low at 348, and now we're starting to turn back up. So these are some key levels on the upside here. As SPY, believe it or not, did pretty well last week, and it's been doing well. It's been, gearing up for a rally here. Let's see if it can continue. And let's look at QQQ, which you guys probably know tracks the NASDAQ 100, right? This one is not breaking out as nicely quite yet as SPY is. Again, SPY is above the moving averages. We took the highs out from the beginning of this month. QQQ has not done that yet. It is still under the highs from earlier this month, and that's right at $285. You guys can see that here if I zoom in, and that's where my alert's at, $285. If that point's able to break, we have some targets on the upside here that we could get to, 297, 98. If that were to break, maybe towards 310, $315 is where QQQ could be going here. And really, for this week, you guys got to watch 285 here. And as for the futures, currently when I'm filming, it's about 6:55, so they opened up about an hour ago here on the East Coast. We have the NASDAQ futures down a little bit. They're down 0.1%, nothing crazy. Dow's down also a little bit, barely, pretty much at break even, as we have the S&P 500 futures down 0.1%. And we have the Russell roughly down the same. So really, nothing crazy is going on right now in the futures market. Again, we're about an hour in. Things could change heading into tomorrow morning. But as of now, it is flat, more leaning towards the red side here. We do have the metals, it looks like. Metals are green. Silver is up about 0.2%, as we have gold currently up about 0.1%. So metals are moving. Futures in general for the indexes here, they're going down. S&P down, NASDAQ, Russell, but really nothing crazy and nothing to really worry about yet, technically, heading into tomorrow. But who knows? This could change overnight, and when we wake up in the morning in the pre-market, it could be a bloodbath for all we know, right? So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to know your thoughts, as always. And if you want me to cover any topics, any stocks, any companies, any piece of news that you maybe want my opinion on, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll talk about whatever you want me to talk about. Within reason. If you want me to talk about some crazy crap, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about it, but whatever. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, and we'll make it happen. So, like you probably know, we have a lot of earnings this week. PayPal, Coinbase, SoFi, Uber. We're going to break down a bunch of these in this video. And again, we have that Federal Reserve meeting, which we're not going to get too deep into in this video. I'll probably make more content about that. Well, I definitely will make more content about that later this week, getting into the week. But overall, guys, right now, inflation, I'm sure you guys have seen it, has not necessarily drastically come down yet, but it's for sure been cooling off. Who knows? I mean, it could spike up in a couple months for all we know. But right now, 9%, 8.5% has kind of been the peak, right? Right now, in real time. Again, and who knows? In a couple months, it could shoot back up and we could be at 10, 12% for all we know. I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely not. But in reality, it could. But right now, it's slowly cooling off. It's kind of, maybe not cooling off, it's flattening out a little bit, right? It's finding a new base. And the Federal Reserve, what are they going to do? We're probably going to see a 75 basis point hike, and that's kind of what the markets are pricing in. And of course, if we get somehow miraculously a 50 basis point hike, I mean, or to be honest, I'd rather have more hikes right now. And a lot of people think, the Fed's gone too crazy. I mean, they weren't hiking enough in the beginning, but now they're going overdrive. I say just raise the rates up and let's get it out of the way. I mean, if we have to do 75 basis points, even 100 basis points, in my opinion, I say let's do it. But if they come in somehow miraculously and only do 50 basis points, the markets, they're going to love that. And we're probably going to get a ridiculous rally. And it all depends kind of on how Jerome Powell addresses everything. Is he going to be hawkish, dovish? You guys know, you know the deal. You know the script. I mean, we've done this on the channel for months and months and months, years at this point. We've been covering this stuff. And it's the same time, it's the same thing pretty much every single month. He dances around or every press conference. It's not every month. But, he dances around, questions. He tries to please everybody. I mean, you guys know how it is. He's very media trained, Jerome Powell. And, we'll see how it ends up going down. Hopefully the markets don't collapse, but, at the end of the day, guys, we can't control any of that. It's all out of our control. But what we can control is how we react to the markets and, what they give us, right? What the markets give us and our reaction to it. That's what we can control. So keep that in mind. And with that being said, let's talk about some freaking stocks, guys. The meat and potatoes of this video. We have PayPal coming up this week, which you guys probably know. Maybe you don't. I don't know. It is one of my holdings. It's not a huge position for me, but it is one that, believe it or not, and now in hindsight, I feel like a freaking idiot, but this is one that I bought, well, maybe not. I don't feel like I kind of do feel a little bit stupid for not locking in profits as heavily as I should have when it was at 300, but who knows? Maybe in a couple of years or 10 years, PayPal breaks 300. But overall, if you guys didn't know, a little history lesson here. I bought PayPal before the huge run up to 300 and actually before COVID. I bought PayPal before COVID and, I've probably held it for probably at least 3-4 years now. Probably 3 years, yeah. Because I was buying in the 80s, 90s before the huge run up. I remember I trimmed a little bit, not as much as I should have. And now it's back to 90. And I actually been buying a little bit, nibbling a little bit down here, not going too crazy heavy on it because, again, it is not, a huge position, nor do I want it to be, which, again, is why I'm just holding on, nibbling a little bit. And they report this week, which it's going to be one that I'm really paying attention to, which is why it's the first one that we're talking about in this video. They're reporting on the 3rd, which is on Thursday, I believe. What is that? Thursday, Wednesday, whatever that is. They're reporting on the 3rd, and they're looking to do on average, and these are all estimates, guys, the numbers we're going to talk about today, EPS of 96 cents on revenue of $6.82 billion, which would be up about 10% year over year. Really not that bad. That's if they do about 6.85 bill in revenue. And again, this stock has been just decimated, guys, de-freaking-stroyed, and it's in the mid-80s right now. And if we look really in the short term, these charts, what we're noticing is a downwards channel, clear as day here on PayPal. You guys see that, right? Lower lows, lower highs, and right now we're at a point, if we break 90, and I have my alert at 95 and 100 as well, we could start gaining some steam in the very, very short term. So keep your eyes on it, guys. $6.8 billion revenue estimated, EPS 96 cents for PayPal. And let me know, do you own the stock? Let me know in the comments down below. Seriously, I'd love to know if you own PayPal or not. Now, the next one is Coinbase, which is ticker symbol COIN. And you guys can see here, Coinbase has slowly been breaking out. Not fully breaking out, but it's starting to get to a point where it took out the moving averages, right? Now we're kind of, consolidating above them, holding them as support at about $72, $73. And in my opinion, if we get a clear-cut break past the highs from last week, which I think we're right around $77. I mean, last week, there was a day Coinbase went ballistic. You guys remember that, right? I think it was up 13% in a day, maybe even more than that. I think that was on Thursday? What day was that? Thursday or Wednesday? Yeah, it was one of these days, and it's been consolidating since then. Actually, it was more earlier in the week last week, and on that day, it went from $66 to about 75. Yeah, about 13% to the upside there. So big move on Coinbase. Now we're kind of consolidating. Let's see what happens again at about $77, which is that high from last week. So Coinbase, which shouldn't be a surprise, they're expecting to lose about negative $2.40 on the quarter. That's the estimate. And if you look at their EPS, guys, I mean, look at this 3-year chart. This thing has been, their earnings have been all over the place. They're making money one quarter, down the next two. Then they're going to make money again, probably, soon, maybe in a year. Then they're probably going to lose money. And to be honest, I don't know when they're planning on being profitable. But I'm assuming the way that the crypto market's looking, not anytime soon. They were profitable at one point. It looks like, last in 2020, 2021, of course they were freaking profitable. They were making money hand over fist. Everybody that was in crypto, all those transactions, of course they were freaking profitable. But now they're not. And they've had 2 straight quarters of losing money. They're about to report another quarter of losing money. But if they do come in at negative $2.40, that loss would actually be a lot less than what we saw last quarter, which I guess that's good. And revenue is expected to be $659 million for Coinbase. Oh my goodness, man. Their revenue had to have been in the billions last year, or before that, for a single quarter. Maybe I'm wrong. I have to look at that. But their revenues are getting hammered. That is just insane. And again, I mean, technically, even though the business fundamentally is not doing that well, technically the charts look pretty dang good. I mean, again, 77 that breaks, we could start getting an explosion here in Coinbase. And the next one we have is SoFi. But before we actually talk about it, let's talk about our sponsor of today's video, MooMoo. So it's MooMoo's 10-year anniversary, and to celebrate, they're doing a little something special here for a limited time. They're giving away $10 free guaranteed, plus up to 15 stocks, each up to $2,000. All you guys got to do is use that link down below or go to StockSurfest.com/MooMoo. Deposit at least $100, and again, you get $10 guaranteed, plus up to 15 stocks, each up to $2,000. Get your free money, link down below, and full disclosure, it helps out the channel as well, guys. And with that being said, let's dive back into the video. Alrighty, guys, so we have SoFi this week reporting earnings on the 1st, which is on Tuesday before the market opens. And this is one of those stocks that I'm sure you know. It's one of those YouTube hype stocks from 2020, 2021 that has come down in a major way. And this is one that I've never owned as a long-term investment personally. Not that I'm saying it's bad. I've just never owned it, but I've traded it a bunch. I've made a bunch of money on SoFi. Not really recently, but it was really in the end of 2021, heading into the early days of 2022. This year, I made some good money on SoFi, and I really haven't touched it since. But if we start seeing a reversal past, let's say, 650, especially 7, which is where my alert's at, there could be some serious momentum shift in SoFi. And again, they report this week, EPS is looking to be about negative 10 cents, revenue $392.76 million, up 56% year over year. You got to realize this company is growing, and all it takes is one quarter that surprises us, guidance being strong, and then this, being a small cap, could rip a ton. We've seen it happen before. I mean, look at their last 2 reports. I'm not saying this is going to happen again because it happened last 2 reports, but just look at it. Keep an eye on it. Last report, the stock went from $650 to about $850 in a day or two. 32% move for SoFi. And 2 reports ago, it went from about $4.95, right, to about $8.15. That was a 64% move, guys. This stock can move, which is why you got to watch it, which is why I'm talking about it here on this video. So Uber, I know a lot of you guys probably like Uber or use Uber. I don't know if you like the stock, but the stock, there's really not many reasons to like it, in my opinion. Not to crap on you guys if you own Uber, but this has been a company that, if you look at it, it is under the price at where it IPO'd at. It IPO'd at, what, $40, ran to $64. Now it's under 30. It is down about 55, 60% from all-time highs, and it's just been destroyed. Really, COVID threw a huge wrench at Uber, and now there's a lot going on with the government wanting to make Uber's independent contractors employees now, which is going to screw their business model. We're not going to get into that in this video, but there's a lot going on with that. And last time they reported, holy crap, this stock went ballistic. I mean, this thing went from 24 to 32 bucks. That's 35% in a couple of days. And I'm not saying it's going to happen again. I'm just putting it out there. And they're looking to do negative 22 cents in earnings per share on revenue of $8.13 billion, which would be up 83% year over year. And you got to realize COVID screwed up Uber's numbers, so that's the reason why the year-over-year comparables are amazing. 83% rev growth year over year. Not bad. So keep your eyes on it. I'm not loving it, but overall, we do have an inverse head and shoulders here, which, who knows, maybe in the short term, if this thing does break, I might start loving it as a trade, and maybe we'll play it. Maybe from $28.50, $30 if it breaks. We could get even more upside from there. So Uber, AMD is another one. AMD is probably the biggest other than PayPal. And yeah, probably PayPal. AMD is probably the biggest one, right, to watch out for this week. They ended up going up 6% on Friday, closed a little bit above 60. And let me tell you, their technicals are looking bearish for sure. Still under the 180 SMA, still at a pretty bad spot here on the chart. But if it starts turning 65, 70 bucks above that point, maybe we start getting a reversal there. But we're not there yet, hence why my alerts are at 65 and 70. So they're reporting on Tuesday after the bell, EPS 68 cents, revenue of $5.62 billion. That's what's expected. And personally, I'm not in AMD. And actually, to give you another history lesson, this is one that I owned, but I actually sold out of. Made some good money on it, unlike freaking PayPal, which I bought it, trimmed a little bit. I made a little money, but again, wrote it all the way back down, which sometimes happens. That's just the reality, and I'm not scared to admit that to you guys because we're not sugarcoating anything here on this YouTube channel. But AMD is one that I owned in the 70s. Last time it was in the 70s. Now we're back under 70. We're at 62 bucks. But I owned it in the 70s, mid-70s, right? Probably back in 2020, 2021. What was it? Yeah, end of 2020. And then it ran all the way to 165, and I actually sold it right at 165. Just kidding. I didn't time the top, guys. That's another thing that a lot of people lie about. They're like, oh, yeah, I timed the top. I timed the bottom. Sometimes by chance you can, but in reality, it doesn't always happen. Actually, it rarely happens, but in this case, I sold it at about 118 bucks, if I remember correctly. 118, 19 bucks. And, we're at a point here where it's down 50% from where I sold. So looking about, a good year later, pretty much, I saved myself a 50% drop. Well, actually, that's not true. I mean, I own the stock in the mid-70s, so technically I wouldn't be down that much. I'd be down about 15% if I held it and didn't lock in anything. But again, I ended up selling, all my AMD. And at this point, I don't know if I'm going to get back into it because I bought NVIDIA, which now I'm also up on in the very short term. I bought this at 121. Now it's at 138. I'm thinking if this runs up even more this week, I might just sell out of it, take the short-term gain, capital gain, and just keep on pushing. And if NVIDIA comes back down to the low hundreds, maybe I'd get back into it. But overall, it's one that I mentioned in my previous video that it's running away from me a little bit, and I'm not really looking to buy more here. I don't want to build out my position in the mid hundreds. I want to build it out in the low hundreds, preferably under 100, which who knows if NVIDIA at this point even gets back under there. A lot of people are speculating that it will. We shall see. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And we have some energy companies this week. We have Devon Energy reporting. They're looking to do $2.13 on revenue of $4.91 billion, which would be up 41% year over year. And Devon Energy, guys, you can see it broke out of 75. We're now holding it as support. We have another gap to fill to about $80, which you can see here clear as freaking day. Look at that. If we go to 80, that gives us another, what, $5, $6 from here. Actually, more like $3, $4, which would be about 4%, 3, 4%, 5%. So DVN, I like it. They're reporting earnings on the 2nd, which is on Wednesday here in the pre-market. And we also have Airbnb this week. Let's pull that up. ABNB is the ticker. So my alert's at $121, right, guys? You see that? And this is the high from, it looks like, last week and the week before. And in my opinion, the charts show it. If that breaks 121, we have upside to, or towards at least, you guys can see here 130, that's where we double topped. It looks like the first top was in the beginning of August, second top beginning, middle of September. That's where we could go initially. Then if that breaks 140, maybe even higher, that's where it could be going. So Airbnb 1.46, $1.46 in EPS on revenue of $2.84 billion. That's what they're looking at. And another one that we're looking at here is Etsy, which is one that I think we recently talked about. My alerts are set at $100 and $110. We have Etsy reporting on the 2nd, Wednesday, I believe, after the bell here. And they're looking to do 37 cents of earnings per share, which I'm looking at their EPS here. It's been declining, which is not surprising, from $1.11 back in February to 60 cents back in May to 51 cents back in the beginning. Actually, that was the end of July when they reported that quarter. And now they're about to report 37 cents. So it keeps on dwindling. Maybe this company will be unprofitable soon. That's totally possible if the economy continues the way that it's going now. Revenue is looking to be $564.3 million for Etsy. And again, my alerts are set at $100, $110. We have this downwards channel going on here. And if we do end up cracking above, let's say 100, 110, there could be a breakout on Etsy. And we also have Mercado Libre, Meli, ticker symbol MELI. They ended up going up 5.5%. And look at this chart. This looks identical to Etsy. We're in a downwards channel. We're right at a big resistance. If we break 900, 950, there could be a pop towards 1050, 1100 on this stock. So I'm telling you guys, if Etsy and Meli break the downwards channels here, there could be more upside. And we have every white girl's favorite, Starbucks. We have Starbucks reporting this week. They're looking to do EPS of 72 cents on revenue of $8.31 billion, which is would be up about 2% year over year. So Starbucks here, let's be honest. Let me erase this set and draw another one. We have a Head and Shoulders, clear as day. You guys see it here. We have the left shoulder right here. Boom. You guys see that? We have the left shoulder, or the head right here, and then we have the right shoulder right there. I butchered that a little bit. It's not looking perfect, but that is what we're rolling with. And at this point, we're still technically under the neckline. The neckline's at about $90. If that point breaks, we're probably going to test the high of the head here in the Head and Shoulders, $93. Then if that were to break, which I have an alert there, that's where Starbucks could really start taking off. So they're looking to do, again, 72 cents. Revenue of $8.31 billion, which would be up about 2%, pretty much flat year over year. And they're reporting on, let's see, the 3rd, which is on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday after the bell is when Starbucks is reporting. So those are 10 companies, guys. And if you stuck till the end, let me know in the comments. Say stuck till the end. Drop some money emojis, whatever kind of emojis. And we have some bonus ones as well. We're not going to get too deep into these, but there's so many companies this week. I couldn't cover them all. And even there's even more than just these bonus stocks. We also have DraftKings this week, which is reporting on Friday. They always report at the end of the week. They're on Friday in the morning. This is one that's right at a big resistance now at $15. We also have Pfizer, PFE. This is breaking out as of last week. We have a Golden Cross. They're reporting on, looks like here, Tuesday in the morning. And we also have BP. Let's pull that up. BP is at a big resistance coming up, $34, $35. That was the high here from the beginning of June. If that were to break, we have some upside, more upside on BP. They're reporting on Tuesday after pre-market, rather, guys, before the market. And although I hate this company, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We also have Roku, guys, ticker symbol ROKU. This company is went up 4.5% on Friday. And the reason why I don't like these companies, guys, the streaming, what would you even call it? Like a TV streaming service. It's because there's no moat, and we're not going to get into that, but there's really no clear-cut competitive advantage that would really keep somebody on a Roku as opposed to an Amazon Fire Stick or something like Fubo or some crap like that, right? These companies, they really don't have any moat, which is why there's no chance I would ever invest in them. You know, if I'm looking at a stock, especially for the long term, forget about the short term. Short term, who cares if there's a moat or not? You're trading it. It doesn't matter. But in the long term, if there's no moat in a company, there's no clear-cut competitive advantage, I'm not touching it. You know, I invest in companies like Alphabet, companies like Disney, companies like Apple. You know, these might be like, you know, the most cliche stocks to own, but in reality, these companies have some of the best moats out there. And there's a lot of other companies that I own. We're not going to get into that in this video, but for me, I'm not trying to crap on Roku. But at the same time, I am, in a way, I guess I am kind of crapping on Roku. I'm just keeping it real, guys. There's just no moat. There's no competitive advantage. And the stock, trust me, if there was a clear-cut competitive advantage, this stock would not be down from $500 to $47, guys. It is down 90%. Do you see Google down 90%? Do you see Google down 90%? It's down 35, which is still bad, but not 90. I mean, come on. So what do you guys think? Any closing thoughts? I'm acting like you could talk to me, but let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. And don't forget to get your $10 plus up to 15 stocks for MooMoo, which each of those could be up to $2,000. All you got to do is use my link down below or go to stocksurfest.com/MooMoo and deposit at least $100. And you could also get 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. All those are linked down below. And feel free to check out my Patreon as well. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Peace out.